going on, everybody? This is the Scorpion with Electronic Warfare Studios, and I'm here to bring you another segment of Late to the Party. I'm gonna be kind of going over or discussing Lucha Libre AAA Héroes del Ring. And yes, they did pick the Mexican to do this one because I was the only one that could properly pronounce the title. Just joking. But seriously, guys, this was a game that came out October of 2010, I believe, and made by Konami. I definitely have to say that when they first started talking about this game, it really caught my attention, being as, you know, a young little kid that I used to really like the Lucha Libre in Mexico, and I actually went as a small child one time. Barely remember anything of it, but I was there. I know I was. But back to the game, like I was saying, it was something that looked promising to me. Never picked it up on launch just because it didn't market itself too well. I'm not too sure if maybe it was just because of the market here. It's not big on the AAA. You know, it's pretty much dominated by the WWE. You know, going straight into the game right away. The menus, I really like the artwork and stuff like that around the menus, and they're very easy to navigate. Not too complicated. You don't really have much to get lost into. The music, you know, it's very generic, but you know, hey, it works. It works great for this game. You know, like I said, it's nothing to remember, but I mean, it's not. You know, I've heard a lot worse. So the customization is pretty good on this game. I gotta admit, being able to go and create your own character from scratch, from name, to pick his mask, you know, what he's wearing, on his head, his legs, and all that stuff, and the colors that are going to be color coordinated with everything. Or you could even let the computer do it for you. You can do the random wrestlers, which is if you don't want to sit there and have to do everything, you feel a little lazy or just want to get into it quickly, that's the route to go. The only thing, there's a couple of things about the customization. Like, I wish they had a little bit more mask designs. I mean, they did have quite a bit on there, but being somebody who's a huge fan of customization, I want to have as many choices as possible. Or maybe even they have like a make your own custom mask, like very detailed customization on there. But like I said, they do have quite a bit, and you get to change the colors and things like that. And, I mean, it's pretty extensive for what it is, but I'm just, more the better for me, of course. I do like the color variety, that adds a lot to it, even if you have the same mask, having different colors, can add a little variety to that. The tattoos wasn't crazy about. I mean, they looked cool. Unfortunately, they came in sets. For instance, you picked one set of tattoos. You not only had the one on your chest, but it came with shoulders and a back tattoo. Sometimes there were some single tattoos here and there, but you couldn't edit them once you put them on your chest. It's not like you can move it from the left side of your chest to your right side. You couldn't enlarge it. You can do things like that, which was a little disappointing, but it wasn't too bad. Like I said, they had some cool tattoos on there, but nothing crazy. The custom entrances was pretty cool too. Being able to choose how your character is going to come in there. That was kind of cool, just to add some more variety to it. I'm all about customizations, as you probably already know by now. Story mode was a good length, I believe. Towards the beginning, it's not really that hard, but as you move along through it, you start facing some of the more veteran wrestlers, and it definitely adds quite a bit of challenge to it. I like that the cutscenes include when they did have cutscenes, should I say, within the story, they did include your custom character, which was cool. Cool to see that. It's always good to see your little, instead of having a generic figure in there, it's always cool to see your actual custom built character that you made. The pre-match screens, of course, they have like these little, little signs that they try to make look like posters or whatever, and those of course didn't have your custom guy on there, but still, having the cutscenes was good. I like the crowds on the game seem to really respond to the action or the taunting that the characters that they do while they're wrestling and stuff. So that kind of added a little realism to it. The announcers, definitely got to say that the Spanish ones were a little bit better. Not because it just felt more authentic, of course, it being, Mexican wrestling, but I don't know, there was something about, the guys in English that just didn't sound natural. Like, it just sounded like they were trying to force it or something. Definitely the Spanish announcer, which you can change in the menus, they sounded just to flow better. They sounded more natural with everything. And, of course, just adds to the authenticity that it is Mexican wrestling, just to have them speaking in Spanish. But of course, not everybody can speak Spanish, so of course you might have to go with the English version. A little bit more on the gameplay. Controls are pretty easy. I wasn't having to push a combination of 20 different buttons just to do a single move. So that was a big turn on for me, just because, I've played some WWE titles in the past, and it's been a while though, and sometimes you'd have to learn so many different types of combinations you got to press on your joystick just to get some type of move out of there. But that wasn't the case here. You had your certain buttons that did certain moves and grapples and things like that. So that was definitely something that helped along the way, especially being somebody who doesn't play a lot of these types of games, or being somebody that's new. It's very easy to get into, especially with those controls. I didn't like the one thing on the controls was when you have more than one opponent to kind of, I guess, target a different opponent, you have to use the R3, your joystick, and point it towards that character. And sometimes when you're in the middle of the action, some of these characters are really close to each other, so kind of pointing it to them was a little annoying. It wouldn't point it to the right person sometimes. And it's hard, it just made it really difficult. I wish you could just turn your character in whichever way he was facing. That's just who he would strike. So that was a little bit of a downfall. I didn't really care for that. Like I said, it got harder when there was more than, 2 or 3 people in the ring. Just because, the ring could get crowded at times, and sometimes you'll hit the wrong person, or, you can't turn quick enough to face that one character that you're trying to get to. So, that was a downfall to me on the control part. But like I said, if they would just make it to where you would turn and face that person, and then that was it, that would have been awesome. I think that would have been, to me, that was the only downfall of the controls. But that could have been an easy fix, I guess, for them. I do like that you get to play in different, wrestle in different arenas. They have so many different kinds, and you unlock them just like the wrestlers. You unlock them as you progress through the story mode, and you beat that level. You unlock the, your opponents, and you unlock the arenas. And being a fan a while back, it was actually cool to see some of the old wrestlers like La Parca and Octagon. Like, it was cool, being able to wrestle with them or, as them. So, I didn't really remember a lot of the newer ones, I guess, just because, like I said, I haven't followed it since I was a kid. So, but it was cool seeing those guys. I wish they could have, included some of the old classics like Blue Demon or El Santo. Just that would have been cool to see. But maybe future titles, who knows? I noticed during the story mode they like to put you against multiple opponents versus one guy. That got a little old to me. Like, it just seemed like they just kept doing it because they couldn't really do anything more challenging. So it just got a little old, the third or fourth time that, okay, I have to face 2 guys against 1 guy. So I gotta admit, the last few fights were definitely more challenging. I did lose 2 out of those last 3 fights, and I had to replay them. So it was good to see that they did make it quite challenging, and it wasn't an easy win. But like I said, for the most part, the whole story mode was a good length to me. It didn't seem too short, didn't seem too long. Unfortunately, didn't have a strong replay value. Like, once I played through it, you unlock the characters. That doesn't really make me want to go back and play it again. But it was good through the first playthrough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But like I said, didn't have anything to make me want to come back and play. I think the title has good potential. The game itself looked decent. The graphics were good. But again, as I mentioned before, this market is very, very hard to get into when you got the WWE dominating this whole thing. You know, they've pretty much eliminated all their other opponents, and here you have, you know, this game that's for Mexican wrestling trying to kind of edge its way in here. You know, it's kind of hard to do when you have, you know, such a giant like WWE. Um, but I think it's got great potential. I'm not sure if they'll be making a second part to it, but if they do, I'll definitely keep an eye out for it just to see what kind of changes they've made for it. All in all, you know, I just don't think it would have been worth the $60 when it came out. I think I would have been sorely disappointed if I'd have paid that much for it. You know, I got it used for like $10, I think it was. So it wasn't that big a deal. It was, you know, for as much as I played it, the $10, you know, hey, I got my money's worth for it. But any more than that, I would question it, especially now since the online isn't even working anymore. There's nobody online. So, you know, once you finish the campaign, what are you going to do unless you got friends that can come over and play with you? And, you know, finding those people are going to be hard nowadays. Most of the time it's going to be the online deal. But all in all, like I said, $10 wasn't too bad. And I guess we'll be looking to see if they decide to do anything else on this. You know, if you guys like this video or have any questions about the game, please feel free to leave any comments. Feel free to follow us on YouTube here. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that when you get a chance. We're also on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can find all that information on our website, which is ewarfarestudios.com. Again, thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Later.